Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel. Are you worried about the chapter called development? Are you thinking how to write the answers so well that will fetch you good marks in the exam? Is the concept of development still not clear to you? Are you wondering why America is called a developed country whereas India is not called so? Then watch this video to the full, and I'm sure if you watch this video till the end, all of your questions and problems will be answered and solved, so that you will be very easily able to write answers in your exam that will fetch you high marks. So watch this video to the full. So this is the chapter, the first chapter of economics. The chapter name is development. Now we all have heard the word development, but what is development actually is? Now development is actually the improvement from our present condition. Whatever condition we are in at present, development refers to an improvement from our present condition. Now, the development goals are different for different persons. Developmental goals are not the same for everyone, and sometimes it can be conflicting as well. That means what is development to one person may not be development to other. What is development to you may not be development to me. So let's see what are the developmental goals for different category of persons. Now here I've got a list. In the first category I have landless rural laborers. Rural laborers who have no land of his own, who work as daily wagers on someone else's land. Now what should be the developmental goal for this kind of a person? Now this person, a landless rural laborer, should want more days of work and high wages, more wages and more days of work, and he would also want his children to get good and quality education from the local schools. Second is the prosperous farmers from any state of India. Now a prosperous farmer should want a high family income with a higher support price. Next is an urban unemployed youth, a young person who is well educated but who has still not got a good job. He is unemployed. So what should be the goal of an unemployed young person from urban areas? Now an unemployed youth from an urban area would want employment with high pay or high salary. And what about a girl? Now a girl would definitely want freedom, equality and good education. Now in our country in the past, women were subjected to unequal treatment. So a girl would want greater freedom, equal status and good education. And lastly, an Adivasi who live in the outskirts of a district, a town or a village. Now sometimes these people get displaced for any developmental work, such as, the government wants to construct a dam. Now a dam would benefit a country. The people who live in cities or towns, they would get good supply of water and good connection of electricity as well. But constructing a dam may displace the people who live around the dam area. So an Adivasi would want his or her land to remain intact. He will not want to get displaced, and he will also want his livelihood to be intact as well. So we have seen here that the developmental goals or aspirations are different for different kind of persons. Now there is one more thing we have to add here, that the goals of development or development goals can be conflicting. What is development to you may not be development to the others. For example, the example that I have given a little while ago, suppose a dam is to be created in an area. So a dam would benefit the country, a dam would benefit a nation, it would supply good amount of water, and it would also generate electricity as well. But the people who reside around that area will get displaced. They will lose their land. So a country may be benefited from the construction of a dam, but certain kinds of people will be affected badly. So what is development to one person may not be development to other. I hope this concept is clear to you, that developmental goals are conflicting. It's a mixed kind of a goal. Development, what is development to one person may not be development to others, but development is basically an improvement from our present condition. So every person has two kind of goals in front of them. One is material goal and another is non-material goals. So everyone would want to have material goals and non-material goals. Now everyone wants a good income. Who wants to be poor? Everyone wants to be rich. But money is not everything. If you have a lots of money, you can't say that all of your aspirations are fulfilled. So we have two kinds of goal in front of us. That is, one is material goal, or we may call it monetary goal, and another is non-material goal. So in the category of material goal, it means good income or high income. So everyone wants to have a high income. And among the non-material goals, there are freedom, security of life, equality or equal status, and removal of racial discrimination. So these are the two kinds of goal for each one of us, albeit in a different way. So everyone wants to have good income, high income, and that is the material goal or monetary goal. And the non-material goals are freedom. Everyone wants to have freedom. Suppose you have a lots of money, but you are not allowed to get out of your house. You are not allowed to go anywhere that you would like to go. So you would not want that kind of a situation. And you go out on the street, you are robbed, your money are stolen. So that kind of a thing you would also not want. So you want a security of your life and property, and you would also want equality or equal status, and racial discrimination should also be removed. You don't want to face racial discrimination. So these are the two kinds of goal that each individual in any country in the world would want to have. I hope this concept is clear to you. Next we go to the topic national development. Now, national development means the development that is had by the nation in its entirety. A nation consists of a variety of people, a diversity of caste, religions or languages. Lots of people live in a country. It consists of diverse people, castes, languages, religions, etc. So what can be called a national development? So the government of every welfare country wants development, wants to bring about a policy that would benefit a large number of people. But whatever policy the government brings in the country, whatever projects the government launches in the country, it does not benefit everyone and all. Some section of people are benefited from the projects or the policies that the government adopts, and some section of people are left out. They are badly affected due to this policy or due to these projects that benefit certain sections of people. For example, the government wants industrialization in the country. So industry is a very good thing because it gives a lots of employment, it creates employment opportunities, but it needs land. In class 9, in the first chapter of your economics, you studied that land is an essential requirement for production. So land is required for industry to develop, but maybe the agricultural land are being occupied to construct an industry. So a farmer who was cultivating his land may lose his land for the construction of industry. Yes, we want both industries and agriculture, but sometimes it happens that for land for industries, agricultural land are occupied as well. So certain sections of people will be benefited if industries are developed. It will throw a lot of job opportunities, but some section of people like the farmers will get affected. Moreover, if industries are developed, it would create a pollution as well. So we will not be able to have a pollution-free environment as well. So we see that national development, that means the development which is for the nation, is not an unmixed joy as well. It does not benefit all the people in the country. Some section of people is benefited and some section is affected. I think this topic is clear to you, in fact this part. So next, how do we compare the status of development? Now, in economy, on the basis of developmental status, we divide the country into 3 categories, that is developed, developing, and underdeveloped. In the developed category, we may write USA, United States of America, is a developed country. In the category of developing, I may write India, it is a developing country. And in the category of underdeveloped country, we may write Kenya or even Nigeria. So how can we say that USA is a developed country and India is a developing country, whereas Nigeria or Kenya is an underdeveloped country, and how is it calculated? According to World Bank, to determine the developmental status of any country, per capita income is used to determine the developmental status of a country. And what is per capita income? Now, per capita income is the total income of a country divided by its total population. So per capita income is calculated by dividing the total income of the country with its total population. And according to 2012 report by World Bank, the country whose per capita income is 12,600 $12,616. The country whose per capita income is $12,616 per annum, means per year, is developed country or rich country, and the country whose per capita income is $1,335 or less per annum, it is called low income country or underdeveloped. And India's per capita income is $1,536 per annum. So India is a middle income country. So that is why we call India a developing country. So the countries that fall in the category of middle income, this is known as a developing country. The country whose per capita income is 12,616 or more per annum is called developed country, and the country whose per capita income is $1,035 or less per annum is called low income country or underdeveloped country. So per capita income is one criteria by which the developmental status of a country is determined. But now the question is per capita income enough to determine the developmental status of a country? Now, per capita income is sometimes misleading. That means it does not tell us the true picture of the economic or income distribution in the country. There are some people in the country whose income might be way above than the per capita income of the country, and there are more people whose income might be way less than the per capita income of the country. So along with per capita income, we have to look into some other aspects for determining the developmental status, such as life expectancy. That means the average age that a person lives in a country, standard of life, literacy rate, and net attendance ratio, infant mortality rate. That means we have to look in health status, we have to look in educational structure, along with per capita income as well as the standard of life for the people in the country. Now we have a data here. We have three states here: Maharashtra, Kerala and Bihar. The per capita income of Maharashtra in a year is 1,07,670, whereas the per capita income of Kerala in a year is 88,527, and at the bottom is Bihar, whose per capita income is 28,774. So in terms of per capita income, Maharashtra is way above than the rest of these two states, and Bihar is way behind. So if we determine the developmental status on the basis of per capita income, then we can very easily say that Maharashtra is the developed state. But what about the other criteria? What about the other aspects? Now, infant mortality rate per 1,000 live births in Maharashtra is 25, whereas in Kerala it is 12 and in Bihar it is 43. Infant mortality rate means the number of children who die before the age of 1 among 1,000 live births. That is infant mortality rate. The number of children who die before they reach the age of 1 among 1,000 live births. And in case of Maharashtra, it is 25. That means among 1,000 children, 25 children die before they reach the age of 25 in Maharashtra, whereas in Kerala it is 12 and Bihar it is 43. So this suggests that the health status in Bihar is very low, and in Kerala, the health status is quite good, and that is why the health facilities is quite good, and that is why Kerala has low infant mortality rate. And literacy rate in Maharashtra, it is 82%, and in Kerala it is 94%, and in Bihar it is 62%. So literacy rate is 82%, and in Kerala it is 94%. So in terms of literacy rate, Kerala is once again higher or above Maharashtra and Bihar. And net attendance ratio, according to 2009 and 10 data, net attendance ratio means the percentage of children in the age group of 14 to 15 who attend school. And net attendance ratio in Maharashtra is 64%, in Kerala it is 78%, and in Bihar it is well as 35% only. So which state would you consider the developed? So if we consider only per capita income, then Maharashtra is the developed. But if we consider these other aspects, the literacy rate, net attendance ratio, and infant mortality, then we have to say that Kerala is quite developed than the other two. And as far as the countries are concerned, so Sri Lanka, the per capita income of Sri Lanka is $9,250 per year. India's per capita income is $5,150. Life expectancy of Sri Lanka is 74, whereas for India it is 66. Literacy rate of Sri Lanka is 91.2%, whereas for India it is 62%, and Sri Lanka ranks higher than India in terms of HDI ranks, that means Human Development Index. So Sri Lanka, it is a very small country, very smaller than India, but in terms of Human Development Index it ranks way above than India. And human development is determined not only by the criterion of per capita income, but along with per capita income, these other aspects such as literacy rate, net attendance ratio in the age group of 14 to 15%, life expectancy at birth, that means the average number of years people live in a particular country. So in every aspect, Sri Lanka is much more developed than India. So Sri Lanka ranks higher in Human Development Index than India. So human development is calculated by considering all these aspects of per capita income, life expectancy, health status, educational status, so these things. And it is UNDP who determine or calculate the developmental status of a country on the basis of all these things, whereas the World Bank only consider per capita income for determining developmental status. So there lies the difference, and there is a question in your NCERT book, what is the difference between the policy that World Bank adopts and the UNDP adopts in calculating or determining the developmental status of a country. And in case of the World Bank only considers per capita income, whereas UNDP considers life expectancy, literacy rate, infant mortality rate per 1,000 live births, so these things as well, along with per capita income. So per capita income should not be the only criterion by which we can determine the developmental status of a country, because this could be misleading. There might be some sections of people whose incomes would be way above or way higher than the per capita income of the country, and there would be so many more in the country whose income would be way less than the per capita income. So along with per capita income, we have to consider these things as well. Hope this is clear to you. And the last topic or the question which is given in your book, that is sustainable development. So the development that should occur in the country, that must go on for a longer period of time. The development should not be for a few years. So we want development for a longer period of time. That is sustainable development. So sustainable, and for development of our country, we need to use the resources of our country. The country that best uses its resources are the developed nations. But there are two kinds of resources: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. What are renewable resources? The resources that get renewed every day, such as solar energy, wind energy, water resources. So they get renewed or refilled every day. Whereas the non-renewable resources are that do not get refilled or renewed. The amount or stock of those resources are fixed. That is called non-renewable resources or exhaustible resources. Whereas the resources that get renewed are called renewable resources or non-exhaustible resources. So most often we use non-renewable resources or exhaustible resources. So if we use the non-renewable resources or exhaustible resources such as coal or petroleum so rapidly, then the future generation might not have anything for their use. So there is a saying that we have not inherited this land from our forefathers, but we have borrowed it from our children. So this means that the more we use the natural resources, the more they will get depleted. So we must use our natural resources discriminately, judiciously, moderately. So sustainable development implies that utilizing the resources in such a manner that would meet the requirements of present generation without compromising the needs of future generations. So we should use our natural resources in a manner that would meet our requirements, but it would not compromise the needs of the future generation. And sustainable development is such a development that should be shared by the maximum number of people. It should not be development for a select few people. It should be shared among all, and it should go on for a longer and longer period of time. So hope this is clear to you, and if you still have any question or problem, feel free to ask me by writing on the comment box, and I shall be very happy to respond to you. Thank you for watching.